Hi, I'm Kacey.
And I'm Gianni.
I never finished reading the Animorphs books as a kid, and I still haven't as an adult.
And I've never read them.
We can't tell you where we live.
But we can tell you that we want to revisit these books as adults and dive into what we would keep or change if we were to put it on TV.
Two friends, 50-something books. Welcome to morphinbuddies.
And then the music kicks in, and then people are just so ready.
Hey everyone, welcome to the next episode of Morphinbuddies, coming in hot today with me, Kacey Cisnowski, your host, and Gianni DeMaia.
Me?
You! It's you!
No way.
Yeah!
No way.
It's you, boy!
Okay.
Take a bow.
If you ask me to. If you ask me to. I will.
Still drinking water from the closet, taking a bow.
Yep.
In Florida.
I've never
Beautiful.
been happier to be in the closet. I'm so excited for this episode in particular because I fell down a rabbit hole of creating, and I'm springing this on you in real time.
Oh, I love this.
Fell down
I love
a rabbit
this.
hole so I made an award ceremony because we're 20 books in now.
Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
I figured we gotta start like giving awards out to celebrate how far we've come.
Absolutely.
You know? So introducing the Buddies, which is much like the Oscars, just as esteemed.
Wow.
So I have a couple of different like nomination categories.
Okay,
And we're
okay.
gonna go through. I'll tell you the nominees.
Please.
And then we're gonna vote on who gets it.
Just
So
us
it's gonna be
two?
very exciting. Just us two.
Okay.
It's a
All right.
panel
I'm
of two.
excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited for your
Okay.
consideration.
All right. So the first ever annual Buddies commences now. Okay.
Okay.
So we're starting with. I'll start at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we have best morph. Okay.
Best morph.
Best morph.
Okay.
So I've nominated 5 nominees in this category.
Wow.
I
Okay.
think if I've counted correctly.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I chose the T-Rex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I chose the rhino. Could have gone with the tiger, but I chose the rhino instead. Human version of Axe.
The hot one of the group.
The weirdly everyone's attracted to him and they don't know why.
That's pretty good. That's good.
The fourth nominee is the red tail hawk of Tobias, of course.
Classic.
And the allergic crocodile monstrosity from Reaction. So those are our nominees.
Wow.
So
Wow.
how would you like to vote?
I mean,
Based on that illustrious panel.
I guess we should say what we like and give an explanation and defend our choice. I think that's probably the best.
That's a great idea. Great
Yeah.
idea.
Wow. All these choices. I think, God, I really want to vote for Human Axe because he's weirdly hot.
It's the best one.
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
the best one.
Because it's just a mix of everybody.
Everyone's like looking at themselves in the mirror and they're kind of like, wait, that's kind of my best feature.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I think I like Human Axe, though the T-Rex comes in a close second.
I think I'm with you. I think the winner for best morph is Human Axe.
Human
Congratulations,
Axe!
Human Axe. You have won your first Buddy Award.
Good job.
So that's really great. Okay, now I have best alien race.
Oh.
All right, the nominees are the Ellimist, the Yerks, the Hork-Bajir, the Andalites, and the Chi.
Wow.
I went with.
Wow. Shade on the
Yeah,
Taxons there.
Yeah, we cut the
Damn.
Taxons. We cut the with the Lyrans, right?
Yeah, the Lyrans, the goofy little guys.
Yeah, the goofy little dudes. Yeah. No, I went with the heavy hitters on this
All
one.
right.
I went with the big guns. You know. So what are your thoughts on that?
I enjoy the Andalites. I think they're super cool, but I think my choice in this is the Hork-Bajir. I think they're sick as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something also like fatally tragic about being a race that's like designed to just live peacefully and cut down trees, but you're also a weapon for murder.
Yeah.
All right, I love it. We're locking it in. The Hork-Bajir, congratulations. You are the winner of this Buddy Award.
Nicely done.
Next, I have best... We'll go to... How about we do best supporting character, okay?
Okay.
So not a major POV character. It has to be a supporting character. So the nominees are... I have Visser 3.
Whoa.
Alarin.
Uh-huh.
Eric.
Uh-huh.
Esplin. And threw this one out there, Lauren from the Andalite Chronicles.
Oh shit!
Get a little female blood in there.
Damn.
Because it was becoming a bit of a sausage fest in some of these categories. So
it is definitely a sausage fest.
So this is a tough one because you could go a lot of different ways. You know?
Yeah,
it's
this
like,
is really tough because I do
character?
really love Visser 3 because he's so dramatic and angry. I also really like Lauren because she's a tough broad. You know what I mean? She's a tough 18-year-old broad.
Sorry, you cut out right at the end. Did you say Visser 3?
Yeah, I voted Visser 3.
Yeah, you gotta go Visser 3 at the end of the day.
You gotta go Visser 3.
Such a compelling villain, you know, and I have a soft spot for Esplin, but we've only seen him once at this point. So
only once.
So Visser 3, congratulations on your Buddy Award. You are the winner.
Good job,
Best supporting
Visser.
Character.
Congratulations.
We have now a similar but not the same category. We have Best Character to Hate.
Ooh.
So the nominees are, we have David from this book. We have Visser 3 again. He's nominated in 2 categories. It's a pretty big day for him. We have Tom, also known as Thom. We have Vice Principal Chapman.
Oh.
And we have Jake. So,
all right.
What are your feelings on who should win the award for Best Character to Hate?
I know your choice.
No, come on.
I'm pretty sure you're choosing Jake. There's a little bit of me that wants to hop on that bandwagon with you just for funsies because he is our main character. But I really despise David. Like, I absolutely despise
David
him.
Sucks.
So I think I gotta go David.
David is ass.
I really hate him. I hated him in this book. I hated him.
Yeah, he's kind of the fucking worst. But we only have a very small sample size, you know? And whereas with Jake, we have such a large sample size.
But Jake has redeemed himself here and there. Sprinklings. Small sprinklings. Remember, one day all horses will be blue. You know?
Yeah,
like, that was a classic from him. And he wasn't bad in this book.
Yeah, credit where it's
keeping things democratic a little bit. I'm voting David. Is this a split vote?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I made the nominees, so I gotta go with your decision. So, David, congratulations on your...
David, you suck!
Your massive upset. You are the Buddy Award winner for Best Character to Hate. And then we have 2 more categories. We have Best POV Character. The nominees are all of our POV characters. We have Axe, we have Marco, Kacey, Rachel, Tobias, Elfangor, and Jake, I guess.
I'm gonna have to go Marco.
Marco's a great choice. I was torn between like Marco and Axe, but I think this book.
I
really
almost said
it.
Axe too, but yeah, Marco rocks. Marco's great.
Marco just has a way of maneuvering through these like plot-heavy, very dense books like this one. But doing it with such panache and zaniness that it's constantly entertaining, you know? So I think Marco's got to be the vote. So Marco's congratulations. You are the Buddy Award winner for Best POV Character so far. And then we have Best Book in the Series so far. So, of course, this is only counting the 20 books we've read in the main series plus the additional, I believe, 3 other books that we had read. So the nominees are... And I limited it to 5, so I have The Reaction, which is book number 12. To my chagrin, I included The Departure here because I know that you're a big fan. Book number 19.
I thought you weren't going to put that in there. All right.
No, I'm a fair and diplomatic host of the Buddy Awards, guys. You know what I mean? I'm not here to ruffle
You're
any
willing
feathers,
to make the necessary sacrifices.
Exactly. So The Departure is a nominee. The Andalite Chronicles, book 1 in the Andalite Chronicles, which is 12.5 in our main series. The Predator, book 5. And In the Time of Dinosaurs, which is 18 and a half. So those are our nominees.
That one was so good. But I think I gotta go reaction. Like, we keep referring back to it. That's kind of our gold standard of Animorph book that we want.
It's just too fun. It's too
fun. So fun.
You know, and sometimes Best Picture is the least interesting award to watch at the Oscars because you know where they're going, you know, and maybe this is our example of that. So congratulations to the reaction. You are the Buddy Award winner. So congratulations to all our Buddy Award nominees. You guys are so special. So we'll have to revisit this. I want to revisit it every interval of 10 books moving forward. So we'll
that's great. That's great.
We'll revisit it when we get to number 30 in the main
I love
series.
this. This was so fun, Gianni. Those were great picks, great categories.
Thank you.
Give yourself a round of applause. There you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The Buddy Awards, I thought would be a good icebreaker to break into this book. So I'm very happy.
Love that. Perfection.
Thank you.
Love that. Can't wait for the next 10. Namaste. Also, do we want to dive in really quickly, since we're here, about how we would break up the seasons thus far
Kacey,
in the series?
I'm so glad you asked because
we love a prepared boy.
I also wrote out how I would break down the seasons after we got that email on the last episode.
Hell yes.
Now, I will caveat this and say that I reserve the right to completely overhaul this once, one, we know more about where the whole overarching series goes, because maybe some of these are obsolete by the end of it. But two, there's a lot of things that I forget, and I have to go back and listen to our episodes, and I'm not through all of our episodes yet, so I forgot quite a lot of things. So I apologize if these are kind of vague. I'll try to expand them out more as we revisit this. Yeah. But I think, at least so far, condensed this down into a very streamlined, very budgetarily conventional series. And I was able to get it so far now to 2 seasons. So I'm very... so HBO, you could hire me, and we'll get working on this right away. Kacey and I can be, of course, showrunners on this. But
absolutely.
So season 1, I was able to get to 6 episodes. I think 6 episodes, because the show is going to be very expensive. You're going to have a lot of visual effects elements being incorporated.
It's like The Walking Dead.
So
Walking Dead.
Exactly.
First season, 6 episodes.
Exactly. And then I'm hoping to, depending on how season 2 shakes out, hoping to get that more around 10 episodes. But we'll see how that goes as we break into it. But here's what I have so far. So, episode 1, I basically have the plot of the invasion, the first book, with the group getting their powers. But you also incorporate elements of the Visitor so that we can meet Chapman and some of the other villains in more thorough detail. And I want this episode to end in the same way that The Invitation does, with Tobias being stuck. And that's how that one ends.
Yep.
Episode 2, I wrote follow Tobias heavily as he struggles to adapt, but the plot of this episode mainly focuses on the plot of the message and adding acts into the group.
Oh, okay.
Episode 3 is just straight up The Predator, book 5, in full. That's episode 3. But big Marco-centric story there.
Yeah.
Episode 4, The Capture, pretty much in full. The only thing I want to add is basically take the Kacey and Yerk dialogue from The Departure and try to incorporate it into that as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then episode 6, big episode, might be an hour and a half, I don't know. But what I have is, and this is all subject to change, guys, because I was starting to get confused myself on where I was in the timeline. But what I have is, I'm combining the plot of The Stranger to add the Elemist into the mix. With the plot of The Alien, it's going to end with Axe either doing that thing where we kill Alaran, but maybe not, because we've had people email in and say that wouldn't work for X, Y, and Z reasons, so we'll see. Or maybe it's just that Visser 3 actually kicks the shit out of Axe within an inch of his life, and maybe this is the episode where it's like, oh shit, this is a real villain that we're dealing with. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that.
Either way, he gets away. The last scene of the season is the Elemist offering Tobias the chance to reclaim his body, which is that element from the change. So we actually just move up that in the timeline a lot, and then kind of end season 1 on that cliffhanger, will he, won't he? Now, if we wanted to, if HBO was really excited, I just have HBO as a
HBO I think would be the one to buy into this, either that or Netflix.
Why not? Yeah, I think they need it. I think they're hurting for it and they want it.
They got Last of Us coming out soon. Don't shade them like that.
That's true, and I, of course, big fan of The Last of Us, of course, but if they wanted it, we could do a TV movie between seasons.
Yeah.
Where we just straight up do the Andalite Chronicles.
I think that would be so much fun. I think it would feel so nostalgic for people our age also, to like, because they used to do that shit where they would, like, in hiatus between seasons, they'd have like a special episode or a special something, and that would be that would fit right in the timeline with this.
The people are hurting for it, and I think it would be so rich and compelling coming right off of Tobias getting that decision from the Elemist in the end of the change.
Yeah.
The only thing I worry about that is that I think we might have to allude to the Elemist earlier in season 1, just so that it's not a complete out of left field fucking thing that we're just throwing into the end of season 1. But cross that bridge when we get to it. We still have to get greenlit first.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, HBO is in love. They're obsessed because the numbers are through the roof.
Oh my god, everyone
watching it.
loves
Holy
it.
shit. This is incredible. The Andalite Chronicles TV movie was like an absolute blockbuster success. They're actually showing it in movie theaters now. So, season 2, we zig where they expect us to zag.
Oh my god.
And we open season 2 with the reaction.
Hell yes!
We get this thing going.
Hell yes.
In a totally fun direction.
Love that.
And then we drag it down almost immediately, because episode 2 we do the android and we do it in full, and all of the fun zaniness of the last episode suddenly feels much less fun, because now we're looking at real consequences. Good. So right now I have episode 3. I've cut out a lot of the sort of filler books from the teens, but episode 3 I have going right into the warning, so that we can be introduced to Visser's, dark side, little brother or whatever. But then you throw in elements from the escape so that we can be introduced to the Lyrans. That way, when we get to episode 4, which is mostly the decision, then it doesn't feel too jarring that we introduce, because we already alluded to the Lyrans before. Now, this is where I might need to rework some things. So again, subject to change.
Sure.
But I also had as an idea for episode 4, and maybe this might just need to be episode 5 entirely, but what I remember from our criticisms of the decision and In the Time of the Dinosaurs was that it was back-to-back books that took us out of time or whatever and put us somewhere completely different. So I theorized maybe finding a way that we can merge the plot and just basically do In the Time of Dinosaurs instead, for the decision. But maybe have like the Lyrans there instead of those other alien factions or something to that effect. But I don't know. Working with that. Put a pin in it. But episode 4 ending with Kacey making the decision to leave the group, because it's just too much, everything she dealt with in the Time of the Dinosaurs.
And that feels like a good amount of time for us to know the character and get used to everybody and enough happening.
Exactly. So then I want her to be entirely absent for the next episode.
Ooh, good idea,
Because the next episode is basically going to be everything that we read in this book, The Discovery, minus Kacey. And then we don't yet know what happens after this book, but I'm assuming, because of the way they fucking end this one, that we're probably in for a couple parters here, so maybe this could be the arc that ends the season. I don't know yet, TBD, but that's what I have so far. So there you go. What do you think?
That's fantastic. Okay, if anybody knows anybody from HBO or Netflix, send them our way. Let's plot this shit out. Let's make a pitch. Because, Gianni, this is a great outline. It streamlines everything, and it makes sense for the best beats of the books. See, folks, this is why I wanted Gianni to be on this podcast. Because he's got the right moves, he's got the right, he knows how to build narrative structure, and he knows how to make decisions. He knows how to make decisions based off of what we need and what is unnecessary. So... brilliant idea, and let's make a board meeting on Monday.
There you go.
That's what I have to say.
Set it up, posers. But
Hell
that's loosely what we're working with. Of course, everything's subject to change. We don't know what's going to be important, what's not going to be important. By the end of it, who knows? Maybe Jake could be dead in the next book, and then we don't even have to really deal with Jake that much. So maybe we're spending too much time with Jake in some of the other episodes. Who knows? I don't know.
Listen, Gianni, I remember Jake being in the books in the mid-40s, so...
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough, I think.
Taking an L there, Gianni.
I just have to accept it. I think, though, like you had said, though, he's not bad in this book. He really isn't.
No, he's really not that bad. He's pretty... He didn't yell. He didn't scream at anybody. He's not screaming as much.
No. He had one moment where he got a little angry... but it was deserved because David sucks.
That's right. Sucks.
Absolutely is ass.
David is all ass. That's all David is. Just all ass.
Yeah, all ass all the time.
That ass won't quit.
Put it away. No.
Get it away from us. So right before we dive into this book, we got another email.
Oh my gosh.
From our buddy Ryan, my guy. So Ryan's the one that has sent us longer emails in the past, and I can do cliff notes with this email. Mm-hmm. So Ryan says he just listened to book 17, the oatmeal episode.
Oh God, yeah, Oatmeal Gate.
And he said, first, I want to say I love the idea... Oatmeal Gate. He said, first, let me say I love the idea of the little wink to the maple and ginger oatmeal in a show without actually turning the book into an episode. Great call.
Yeah, thank you.
And then he said, now, on to the main topic of the Galit biofilters. As it turns out, Ryan is a biochemist.
Shut
up.
He
loves thinking about... He is! This is... When he wrote that, I was like, oh shit, I'm ready to learn!
No fucking
Teach
way.
me! Okay, yeah. And so, he loves thinking about the science of anamorphs.
Yeah.
And so this is his take on the Galit biofilters.
Okay.
DNA is just a molecule, the same way water is a molecule. Its job is to store information, not unlike the memory in a computer. Sick. Other molecules then come read the DNA to put that information into effect in the right place in the body and at the right time. So there's no reason why a Yeerk's DNA would interact with the host's DNA. So supposedly maybe because they're aliens, there could be some weird thing with that happening, but probably not, right?
Okay.
So most likely the proteins on the surface of the Yeerk would interact with the proteins in the host brain. And there's also no reason the biofilter has to work by messing up the DNA of whatever it kills. My interpretation is that it scans the DNA and says, that's not supposed to be here, and then zaps the offending organism with some sort of death ray. With that in mind, I think a Yeerk could very easily hide from the biofilter inside the host. Presumably, the biofilter doesn't zap your gut bacteria, which would cause controllers passing through to have terrible diarrhea. You're welcome for that mental image. And maybe die. So it stands to reason that other organisms inside you would also be protected.
Ooh.
So, yep. As far as why Axe doesn't use it against Yeerks on Earth, even if he knows how to build one, he may not have the parts needed. Suppose they could try to steal one, though deploying it could still be really difficult. And why don't the Andalites use it in their military efforts? My best guess, The biofilters are really big, like room size. You can't just board a Yerk ship with one. It's great for keeping unwanted things out of something you already control, but it's not very useful as an offensive weapon. Nothing canonical there. It's just my best guess.
Okay.
Keep it up. Love, Ryan.
I love that. I think that's good. That's good headcanon work.
Yeah.
I still think way simpler to not have your audience have to jump through that many hoops.
Yes.
But I absolutely love the process of thinking, because I think that's a really smart sort of breakdown. Evaluating with real science to try to compare with science fiction. So that's really what it's all about, baby. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You know what I mean?
Hell yes.
Here, right?
Thanks, Ryan. Teaching us some learning things. Making us feel smart.
Great email.
Love that.
We gotta add a buddy award for best email. That's the one that wins right now.
Yeah. Thus far. So thank you, Ryan. Please feel free to chime in anytime you want to science us up. We are here for it, and I love to learn. I love to learn. So you should never stop learning, even when you're 100 years old. So we're gonna talk about The Discovery, book 20 today, the Marco-centric book, where he's turning into a little cobra on the front of the cover.
My guy. Yeah,
my
the
guy.
Fucking worst cover. Holy shit.
The aw shucks, the Kevin James pose, the Dwayne Johnson pose.
Christ. Yeah.
We love it. We love it. How did you feel about this book, Gianni?
Book I loved.
I did too.
Well, actually, I have to caveat saying loved, and then the end just blue-balled me so hard, man.
Not the first time, not the last time.
I hate cliffhangers. I really do. It's like and I get it. I know why they're so utilized, and it's but it always feels like you're contriving an audience's investment, and I'm always like that optimist guy who like watches or reads something who's like, no, like trust the reader, trust the audience, that they're going to be invested regardless in your story or whatever. And I know that some people aren't like that. I know that realistically more people are like, yeah, give me the cliffhanger because I want a reason to watch the next one. Like, I know that most people are probably like that. So it makes sense. But for me, it's just, this is not a complete story. So I feel like I can't love it like a complete story.
Yes.
The other thing that is, I think, the criticism I would have against this book, before we get into all the things that this book does so well, is the character of David himself. And we both, we're talking about how David sucks. Now,
he feels so one note. He feels like Chapman in the Andalite Chronicles.
Yes, he's the fucking worst. He's just like epitome of angsty teen, designed to like drive the audience fucking crazy. Like, everything out of his mouth is always like whether it's
defiant,
contrarian or defiant. Yes, defiant is the perfect word. He's
always defiant.
Like, he's just an asshole. And I think that if I'm debating myself real quick, I think that the idea is that the audience is not supposed to like David. I think we're all supposed to be like, I don't know, I'm skeptical of that guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we'll see how that goes, but I'm pretty sure that seems clear to me that we're supposed to be like, I don't know about David. But that being said, I actually think it's way more interesting if, let's say, David turns out to be a villain or perhaps even worse, turns out to be good.
No.
I think it's way more interesting as a narrative arc or progression to have a character who is just like kind of a bit more altruistic or a bit more like curious, and instead of being judgmental, because I think it's just it draws into question, the way it's written right now draws into question our protagonist's judgment in allowing this guy to tag along. He's so awful that it's like, clearly Marco and Axe are right in being like, I don't know this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that he's so bad that it becomes a detriment to the characters that we actually do give a shit about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, all that being said, this book rocks. It starts as like a comedy of errors for the first like third of it, and then it goes absolutely haywire. This is one of those like Animorphs books you have to do in one sitting.
Yeah.
So you just can't put it down.
Yeah.
I mean, most of them are short enough that you could do in one sitting, but it's not like they're always that engaging. This one actually is that engaging.
Yeah.
It's just a shame that it has those other pitfalls, so I can't have it like in my like top 10, but it's like just the fringe kind of. It's right around that area. But what did you think?
No, I totally agree. The first third kind of felt like the reaction again, and I was like, boy, I feel like I'm getting back into the reaction. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, let's go.
The comedy is so goofy, but it's so much fun. And then there is that immediate switch, like you said, like about 2/3 into the book. And it's just like, whoa, hang on. This is a lot. And it's almost hard to keep track of everybody and where everyone is. I do agree. Yeah, David was so one note. It was so annoying. Make David more like either curious or have him be like on the fence for longer. So it's not so clearly communicated that he's not a good person. Because like, I can kind of understand, them being kids and they want to give it a chance and see like if they can help him. But at the same point, he is so clearly being defiant to everyone. And they're just like, well, we'll just kind of ignore that a little bit and, try to be nice. Like, yes, that's a lesson people have to learn at some point in their lives. But to me, it's just so obvious that like you can't give him a chance. Like, I'm sorry. I think it would be more interesting if he was more quiet and like maybe a little bit more like Tobias, where you don't really know what Tobias is thinking because you can't see his face making emotions if he doesn't speak. I think it would be more interesting to have more little bits come out of him being a little more defiant and argumentative rather than just outright every single time you talk to him. Because like even in the beginning of this book, he's like, well, I don't care. Don't touch my stuff, and like walks away. And it's like, all right, chill. I literally just started talking to you. Like,
hate this guy. I would.
Oh my God. I want to drop kick this kid into oblivion. Like this fucking guy.
Yeah. I mean, dude, this is the guy that had one book appearance and won a Buddy Award for best character to hate.
Yes.
So like that should tell anybody who hasn't read these books.
God, he's
tell you
so
right
awful.
There, like how bad he is. Terrible.
Yeah. So yeah, I think if we were more subtle with that and more like, should we not, it would be better for all of our regular characters as well as for David. And then not have his real character show until he morphs that bird the first time,
Yes.
So I playing with that adds more to the tension. But yeah, otherwise like everything else I felt like was really fun and, just like a ride. I didn't love the cliffhanger ending. I actually got like, I looked as I was reading it, I was like, there's only 10 pages left. Like, how are they going to end this? And it was like,
I felt the same way. Yeah. I had no idea.
And then they got to the to be continued. And I'm like, I would have rather them just make like a giant book then, like one giant book for book 20, than a to be continued. Yeah. Again, we get why they do that. But at the same point, like, don't spoon feed your audience. Like, trust them. Trust them that they're going to be able to be into it.
They hit me with the Wicked. You know what I mean? Wicked
oh yeah.
Part 1.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm pretty certain it's going to be great when I do see it. So.
Oh yeah, that movie is heat.
Did you love it?
I did love it. Yeah. Actually, to plug myself.
Were you singing? Please don't be one of those people singing in the theater.
I had never seen the show, actually, so I didn't know any of the
songs really?
when I went in. And I was like, I have no idea what to expect or whatever. So I still don't know.
So you didn't...
I still don't know what happens in Act 2, for the record. So don't...
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I'm saving it. But to plug myself, I am still a film critic. If you wanted to read any of my reviews, you can go to movieburnerentertainment.org. That's movieburnerentertainment.org. I put out my top 10 list for the year, and I do think that I am a better film critic writer than I am a person who speaks about things. So
in a closet.
Yeah, so definitely. So check that out if you are curious. Wicked, I think, was my number 9. I really liked Wicked.
Nice.
Big fan.
Nice. And I can vouch for that. I did read a review that he wrote at one point, and it was very astute and detailed. So
thank you very much.
Props.
Thank you.
Props all around.
Thank you.
So shall we dive into this book, Mr. Gianni?
Let's.
Oh, was there a discovery? Was there a discovery?
I guess there was for David. Like, if David was the POV,
he discovered the blue box.
Yeah, he technically did discover quite a bit. Yeah, but I don't. But it was like kind of it was kind of not at all.
Yeah.
But I'll give it to them because I guess from David's POV there was many discoveries to be had, I suppose.
Yeah, I was a little nervous at the beginning of this book because, ooh, Nelly, there was a lot of sexist humor at the beginning of this book from a 14-year-old.
Marco's thing, you know what I mean? He's shooting from the hip. He's trying to get the biddies. My
first note in my note list that I was taking, I put big L for Marco. Yikes. Please don't call women females or say they're too sensitive. It was like, big yikes. I get it. That was also the humor of the time, and it was a lot more accepted at that time. Fine. Right. I'm not going to make a big stink about it. But just for people out there who think that that's a good thing, please don't. Coming from a human female, please don't be like that. That's gross. Thank you.
Yeah. I think the one saving grace of this like opener, because I guess just to outright say it, so the book opens with Marco basically going through his trials and tribulations of hitting on women at school and getting turned down. And I think that the one saving grace of it is that the joke of those scenes is very clearly that like Marco sticks his foot in his mouth and like can't help himself, right?
Yeah, that helps. That definitely helps the situation.
So that does like kind of make it easy. Again, it's still
more palatable.
Like sexist and punching down, but I do think that it because that's the hook of it. I can forgive it for quite a lot. But so that's kind of the opener of this book, which I think is.
It's so of its time.
in another book in this series, and it's funny, like the shit that Marco gets away with, I would hate to read from like basically any other POV character in the series, but like because Marco is who he is, there are things that I will accept in a Marco POV story that I just wouldn't otherwise. And this sets such a good tone too, because this plot does get very heavy and like very weird, melodramatic, and like almost soap opera ways.
Yeah, very intense.
And I think that starting it off like this to just like kind of ground it in some sense of relatable 90s nostalgia, like please why won't the girls like me kind of mentality is a really fun opener for
it is.
An immediate foray into like plot heavy, very plot centric shit. So once he's like kind of going through that, he's kind of wandering his way home from school, and he sees this boy who he doesn't really recognize, who just so happens to be carrying the same exact blue cube that gave them all their anamorphing powers.
Crazy.
Marco immediately tries to do damage control and fails miserably, as he basically outright says to the kid is David, by the way, he's kind of off-putting. He's I don't want to say antisocial, but
he's not pleasant.
Yeah, he's not someone that you want to like have like stand and have a detailed conversation with. But Marco's like, "Hey, where'd you get that?" And he's like, "Oh, I found it over there." And then Marco was like, "Can I have it?" And the kid was like, "No," and then leaves.
Dude, and there was one time. This was years ago. My friend Carlos and I got on the train to go to the Bronx Zoo, and we were sitting on a full train, and there was a guy next to Carlos who was opening up a pack of Starburst, and he was like opening up the Starburst, and Carlos just looks at him and he's like, "Hey, can I have one?" And I'm like, "Dude, you don't know him. He doesn't." What? And the guy like took out his headphones and he's like, "What?" Yeah, he gave him one. Which I'm like, dude, I love New York.
That is so.
He was like,
funny.
He like looked at us like, he's like, "Yeah, here you go." Okay, and I was like, "Carlos, you can't do that." And he's like, "What? I got the Starburst."
Audacity. The audacity of some folks.
Sometimes it works.
That is funny.
You never know. It was crazy.
That is
yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Total stranger.
But yeah,
Fun.
it was a total, and most of this book is really just Marco firing from the hip and then falling short, which is just
I like
a
that.
surefire way to my heart. It is really
Me too.
fun.
Yeah.
So Marco then immediately like tells Jake about it. Jake's like, "Hey, that's not great."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, I know.
Probably
we don't
not
know what
good.
to do about this." So they all come up with this brilliant plan where they're going to essentially become birds and try to infiltrate and steal the
cube.
The cube. Yeah, I thought I had it. I thought I had it in my notes what the actual thing is called, but it's the Escafil. Is that right?
Yes, I think that's
the
right.
Escafil device. Yeah, wrote down with no
cube.
with no parenthetical. Like, so I think that might be what I meant when I wrote that. I have no idea, but.
So they're gonna fly as birds to David's house and try to steal the cube.
But before that, the story still has to get set up to be even fucking crazy.
Why is it always the bathroom stalls? People are so rude in public bathrooms in these books.
It's so strange. Everything that happens in a bathroom in this series is always so outlandish for no reason.
So crazy.
But Eric, the Chi, approaches them.
Hell yeah.
With some pretty pertinent information. So for some reason, Bill Clinton, the president of the United States at the time the series takes place, is coming to... we don't know exactly
Forks,
where,
Washington.
But we have theorized that it's Forks, Washington. Is coming to Forks, Washington to meet at a Marriott Resort Hotel.
Hell yeah.
With the prime ministers of Britain, France, Japan, Germany, Russia. Why?
Don't know why they couldn't go to DC.
Something in the Middle East.
What?
Who knows? They're discussing something.
You know what?
Over there.
They all play saxophone and they're all gonna jam together. That's my canon.
Yeah. But if that wasn't crazy enough, Eric says that, of course, the Yeerks are definitely plotting something with these leaders, but also one of the leaders is a Yeerk already. Mm-hmm. Which one?
Dunno.
We don't know.
Let's play a fun guessing game.
Which is just batshit fucking off the walls crazy. And I feel like I've said on this podcast several times, I'm like, I wonder when we're gonna get to the president. As a joke.
He's here.
I didn't know that book 20.
Yeah.
We're not even halfway.
No, he's here.
Insanity.
He's here, baby.
So that's all happening. So the Animorphs are like, well, shit, we got to deal with this blue box thing, but then we really got to figure out that because the Marriott Resort is about to be in for a really tough time. So they become the birds. It falls apart almost immediately.
It's so good. They like draw straws to see who's gonna morph and who's gonna stay and keep watch or whatever. I guess.
Stay outside or whatever. And if I recall correctly, Rachel draws one of the short ones, right? Like she's staying out, or is it Cassie?
Oh, one of them. I don't remember which one,
but
one of them. They don't matter. They're not.
It all falls apart. Tobias gets knocked unconscious.
Yeah.
Marco starts fighting with a cat, getting his ass absolutely
kicked. Hang on. We missed the bathroom section. Hang on a second. Because
please,
Jake and Marco go into the stall and Jake's like, all right, Marco, morph bird. And so Marco's morphing. He's about 90% osprey. When someone comes to pound on the door and says, hey, you kids aren't doing drugs in there, are you? And it's like, we
They're 13.
We just came in. We just got here. And they're like, well, we're coming in. And they stick a key in the stall and unlock it. And Jake's like, oh, Marco, stay like that. Don't move. And he puts a sweatshirt over Marco's mostly osprey body. And it's so overly big. He doesn't have arms anymore, so they can't go in the sleeves. Jake pulls the hood over Marco's head, so he's just a lump of clothes and hoodie. And the guys come in. They're like, hey, what's going on in here? And Jake's like, I'm just trying to help my disabled little brother use the bathroom. You guys, I'm going to sue.
Yeah.
He doesn't say he's going to sue, but that's what I would assume the type of energy he gives as the 13-year-old.
But they like pity him, and they're like, oh my God, what does he have? And they like make something up. And
it's like, first off, that's none of your business what he has.
I can't remember what they come up with, but it's like face beaky-itis or something like that. It's like ridiculous.
Marco's like, Marco thought speaks to Jake, and he's like, Beaconoma.
Yes, Beaconoma.
And Jake's like, he's got Beaconoma. He's like, his face is fucked up. Like, you just hurt his feelings really bad now. So now ridiculous. I have to shuffle my brother out of here. And they're like, okay, we're really sorry. We'll leave you alone. And they just leave.
They do. They skedaddle right on out of there.
And then they're like, all right, nice job, bro. And they high five each other.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah,
then Marco flies badly, gets attacked by a cat. Go ahead.
He gets attacked by a cat. David has a BB gun. He starts shooting at everybody.
Hell yeah.
And everybody just decides, like, fuck this, we're out of here. And they bail.
Yep.
And they don't get the box, and that whole plan falls apart almost immediately. So
then
at school the next day, Jake comes up to Marco and is like, hey man, we really gotta get that box. It's really bad. So
really bad. You gotta go talk to David again.
Sorry, yeah. So before that, or I can't remember the sequence of events as it happens, but David actually approaches Marco and is like, "Hey, man, remember that box you were asking me about the other day?" And Marco's like, "Yeah, I do." And David's like, "You're not gonna believe this, but a bunch of trained birds tried to steal it from me." And then Marco's like, "That's crazy! Wow!" So then David's like, "So my plan is
maybe you should give it to me."
Yeah, my plan is basically I've put it up on eBay, and there's already a lot of interest. So I'm gonna send out this email, which I've for some reason already pre-drafted and set to send.
He schedules sended it. It's like you can't. I don't know if you could schedule send in the late 90s. Like, I don't know if that was a thing.
I don't know why you would want to, but he's scheduled to send to this one buyer who's very interested. So Marco's like, oh, that's really interesting. So he immediately goes up to Jake and is like, hey, I'm pretty sure Visser 3 is about to buy that box. And Jake is like, you need to skip school and you need to get it. Now,
yeah,
good idea, Jake. Why the fuck aren't you also going to skip school and helping? What do you mean? Oh, by the way, this is also important. David just casually drops that he has a viper, a pet viper.
Not a viper, cobra.
That he has specifically de-venomed, but would definitely have scared those birds off if they had seen it. So Marco's like, oh, good to know.
Good to know. Thanks for that. I like he named his cobra's name is Spawn, which is great. Yeah. Yeah. And the cat's name is Megadeth, which I'm like, all right, this kid is angry.
Oh, yeah. Columbine hadn't happened
not
in
yet.
This universe, I suppose.
No. So yeah, and I feel like Jake can't go because Thom.
Whatever.
And that's
Who
all.
Cares?
That's
who cares? But
that's the best reason I can come up with.
Marco goes and finds Axe, and Axe is like, shouldn't you be in school? And I can't remember.
Marco's like, shut up, dweeb.
Marco's like, what are you, the fucking police? So then he's like,
he's like, none of your business, dude.
So he's like, I need you to help me because Visser 3 is about to buy that thing. So they go, they infiltrate again.
Which also, I did want to say, this did give me a little bit of nostalgia, and I was confused for half a second, where Marco's like, I guess we'll just yank out the phone cord so the email won't send. And I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
was that real? Like, was that, I was young at this time, so I don't remember exactly how, I wasn't sending emails when I was 8. So, you know, like, all I had was AOL Instant Messenger, baby.
I remember getting an email account for the first time and being like, great. Now what do I do?
Yeah.
And I was like, there's nothing to do. I have no one to send this
to. I still have the same email address that I got when I was 14. I still use it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what it is. Yeah,
you
that's
hold
me,
on
baby.
to that, kid.
That's right. I will. I absolutely will, because nobody knows how to spell my name, because it looks like the alphabet threw up. So there's no way I can put my name in an email, because no one's going to spell it. Anyway, so yeah, I was just like, wow, yank out the phone cord. Would that work? Hey, anybody older than us, like in their 40s, was that a thing with dial-up? Could you just yank out the phone cord and then the email would not send? I guess so, because it's not connected to anything wirelessly.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just sucking the energy out of this.
I really don't know how it works.
Anyway, okay.
As they go to infiltrate, I mean, once again, everything goes to absolute shit almost immediately. David's father turns out to be a cop who is like...
they set off the alarm.
Like, immediately, like, rushes in to try to find the home intruders. Axe morphs into a spider that's distracting him as he's, like, trying to stomp on it. Meanwhile, Marco's stuck under the bed trying to acquire
the Cobra.
The morph of Spawn.
Yeah.
Who is biting the ever-living fuck out of him. Thank God he's been devenomed.
Yeah.
But he's able to get it, but they're not able to stop the email from going out in time. So almost immediately, as David's dad, like, tells the other police officers who stop by to see about the intruder, he's like, false alarm, I got this handled. Visser 3 and a bunch of Bashir show up.
And David, David comes in first. Well, this was this was really funny to me.
It's such chaos, like, all at once. It's so funny.
David's dad is upstairs, and Axe is starting to demorph in front of him. Axe is just this mass of, like, half Andalite, half spider rolling around on the floor, and he's like, "What is that?" And then Marco Thought speaks to him and says, "Hey, you know what? Your son skipped school and he's home right now. I know he's downstairs. I hear his ass. You better go tell him that he's in trouble." And his dad's like, "Oh, how dare he?" And his dad just turns around and to go downstairs to yell at his son, just completely leaving Axe and Marco in the bedroom.
Yeah, leaving the literal alien.
So then he comes back up, and then Visser 3 comes in, and the Hork Bajir come in. Big battle. Big old battle. Huge caravan of people. Visser 3 is like, give me that box, and maybe I won't kill you.
Yeah, at some point the other Animorphs rush in to, like, assist. Like, I think Rachel comes in first, and then all the other battle morphs start to come in, like, kind of... and then, there's this sort of... standoff situation where they all find themselves at opposite ends, and Visser 3 demands, exactly like you were saying, for the cube. The Animorphs have no idea what they're gonna do. They're all, like, sort of panicking over this situation, and I cannot for the life of me remember why Visser 3 leaves. Why does he leave? It just kind of takes off.
Oh,
I don't have it in my notes, and I'm like, wait, why did he go?
Hang on. Okay, let me go through my notes real quick.
We'll edit this part out.
No, we won't. Maybe we will. Who knows?
Maybe. I don't know why I did not write. I was just like, this
was a lot. To be fair, this scene was a lot.
Oh, I do kind of vaguely remember.
Okay, yeah.
So, Marco is in the Cobra morph.
Yes.
And Visser 3 ends up snatching
the wrong Cobra.
David's dad and the Cobra, thinking that it's an Animorph. And Visser 3 then leaves and is like, well, you'll to get them back or whatever. Like you'll bring me the box or something to that.
Which
effect.
also David revealed where the box was before the battle started. Which I was like, shut up, don't.
Dude, he's
like,
so awful.
He's so fucking idiot. Okay, yeah. So then they grab the dad and has Spawn, and Rachel rescued David by throwing him out of the house. And even Jake's like, hey man, following 2 stories is better than getting a yerk in your head. We'll deal with it when he's outside. And so they shove David out of the house from the 2nd story. House is like destroyed. And so they our Animorph buddies are outside. They grab David. David's knocked unconscious, so they carry him to somewhere safe. They all demorph, and then they're discussing like, do we bring him in as part of the gang, or do we just pretend like, wow, that's crazy, we just found you here, whoa. And I put in my notes, I put Axe lays bars, but they vote to keep him in. So Axe is like, Axe is like, absolutely
Axe was the
not.
only one that was like, we don't know this guy.
Yeah.
Why would we? And Marco agrees with him, but everybody else votes it out. Some
they
of
want
them
to
make
give him a
points
chance.
some of if I recall what I think Kacey is the one who's like, this could be the start of us getting more people for this fight,
which is a good point.
Which is not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But this kid,
we don't know him.
So they kind of like break down to David like everything that's happening, and he has like shockingly few questions.
Yeah.
And he's like, he has this whole impassioned speech about being like, well, listen, you either give me the power or you don't. If you give me the power, then I'm with you guys.
He also,
if you don't give me the power, then I don't know what I'm gonna do.
He also doesn't believe them right away. He's like, no, you're tricking me. And it's like, why would we trick you?
Shut up, dude.
Shut up.
Like, this is the most elaborate trick of all time. So then that night, Marco wakes up and is like, oh, David's gone. Goes and finds him. He's about to call his dad.
And he's like,
Marco's like, hang up that phone right now. And drags him outside to a payphone.
He's like, not here. We do payphone,
like,
not here. Payphone.
Yeah, if you're gonna call him, you're gonna call him from here, and you're gonna see exactly what we're talking about. Marco tells him, "Hey, ask your dad.
Ask this.
What happened?"
Yeah.
And David is kind of relaying it, and he's like, "Oh, what do you mean? It was your friends playing a trick on you? That's kind of strange, or whatever."
Which is a wild lie. And even Marco's like, "Look, I thought they were stupid. I didn't think they were that stupid."
Yeah, I didn't think that
that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Nothing. Yeah, Jesus.
Oh my God.
So then
what
Marco
a dumb
quickly
thing
hangs
to say.
up and is like, "They're gonna now trace this call to this payphone." And David's
so
like,
we
"No,
gotta
they're
run."
not."
Because like,
Because David's a fucking idiot.
Get in the bush.
Like, no, they're not.
Get in the bush.
Well, let's watch and see what happens.
Yeah. So they go into a bush, and then the payphone gets swarmed by controllers, and Jake appears out of nowhere as a rhino to like kick them out of the payphone area.
But not before the moment of David's that pissed me off the absolute most, which was everything Marco has said up to this point has now come to fruition. And somehow, some way, David's like, well, but that doesn't mean he's a controller. He's just a cop. And then out of his father's own mouth, he's like, we got to find that kid so that we can make him a yerk.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, okay, how do you not get this by this point, man?
Dude, denial.
Jesus. Unbelievable.
So then Jake morphs Rhino, chases off the controllers. The next day, Cassie brings 2 bird cages. She brings a golden eagle, and then what was the other one? It was a smaller bird. I can't remember what it was. But it was not a kestrel, it was not a hawk, it was not a falcon, it was something smaller. I can't remember what it was.
I gotta be honest with you, man. Every time I read about a bird in one of these books, I'm like, yeah, it's a bird.
Well, based off of your science.
Because as we've discussed,
a bird is a bird.
Many times, a bird is a bird. Bird, there's fish.
Bird, fish.
Not many more.
Bug, snake.
Bird, fish, bug.
Snake.
Yeah, snake.
Yeah, those are the 4 groups.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
So Cassie brings these birds, and she's like, well, okay, you should probably get this smaller bird, David, because we need smaller birds. He's like, but I want a big bird. And she's like, well, no, you can't. We shouldn't do the big bird because sometimes we need to get into small spaces, and this is not going to help you. And he's like, but I want a big bird. And then he throws a little pissy fit in front of everybody, saying, "You guys don't understand. I'm brand new here. I just lost my dad. You guys are being mean to me. Marco hates me. I want to be a bird, and that's my choice. I want to be the eagle."
I would kill this kid.
And everyone's like, "All right, shit, fine. Be the fucking eagle. Go ahead, be the fucking eagle. Watch what happens."
But not for nothing, though. They also do a really poor job of, like, kind of preparing him for this morph. They kind of tell him, like, what he's going to expect physically, but they don't really...
Yeah.
Until he's actually morphed, they're like, oh, by the way, you might feel some emotions that are going to be basically...
Oh, yeah, they don't tell him that at all.
Yeah,
guys, what are we doing here? What are we doing? What are we doing?
We got to be better teachers than this.
Yeah. They're learning.
Almost immediately, he turns into an eagle, and then he, like, kind of kills...
He freaks out.
He kills some random bird.
A crow.
Yeah, a bird. But he kills a bird.
and Marco's like, "Hey man, why'd you kill that bird?" He's like, "Oh, it must have been the eagle instincts. Oh no, oops. I did an accident." And Marco's like,
"I don't believe this guy fucking at all."
He did. Marco's like, "I know that he did that on purpose, and I don't like him. I don't like him.
Yeah, weird.
I don't like him.
Strange."
And then they see a blade ship come out of the sky as they're all flying towards the big meeting of all the presidents and prime ministers at the Marriott. They see a blade ship. They sneak into the ship.
The fact that it's at a Marriott, I'm sorry, is like
I love that.
One of the funniust moments.
Love that.
That is hysterical.
I mean, at least it's not like a Red Roof Inn. You know what I'm saying? Like. Then they hide, they get like under a helicopter, right? Where the president is coming out, or they think it's the president.
They're not sure if it's the actual Marine one or if it's like a decoy Marine one from what I recall. So they kind of, they kind of position themselves. And then if I recall correctly, they morph into roaches. And then they basically like scoot up through the vent of the blade ship.
Yeah, which David also freaks out, and then he starts demorphing halfway through the morph, and everyone's like, "Dude, shut up!" He's screaming.
Yeah, he's screaming
with the Hork-Bajir here.
I hate this guy so much.
Dude, everyone's like, "Shut up!" And they're like, after we told him to shut up, he kept screaming. I was like, bro.
Dude, Jake must have been so fucking excited that David was with them, so that Jake doesn't suck the most in this group. Jake must have been like, thank God, because I thought Gianni was going to quit reading these books, but now he's definitely going to keep going because now he knows that someone's worse than me. And Jake, you know what? You're right. You're right for thinking that.
Yep.
Because this kid sucks.
This kid
sucks. But yeah, so they morph into roaches.
So then he finally goes into roach. Yep.
They see the president of the United States. They like crawl up his leg, which is kind of strange.
Yeah.
And then Visser 3 comes in, and they realize that Visser 3 is actually trying to acquire the DNA from him. But it's not really clear if he's able to get the DNA or not, because basically, as they're hiding, some sort of like hatch opens up, and they end up just tumbling right out and falling. And as they're falling, we get a title card, to be continued, and that's the end of the fucking book. What the fuck?
Yep.
But it comes that quick, and it don't stop coming.
They don't
as
stop
Smash
coming.
Mouth once said.
And they don't stop
coming. That's the what the hell is this book called again? The Discovery.
Somebody. This is
I can't remember what any of these fucking books are called
not
anymore.
The Discovery. The Discovery. That's the Discovery, folks. This is fun. This is a fun book. It is a fun book.
Yeah, I mean,
I just don't want that
cliffhanger. Remains to be seen how much we would change in terms of adaptation, because again, this is an incomplete story, so we'll see where that shakes out. But I'm curious how many arcs they're gonna go with this.
Yeah.
If this is gonna be a 2-book thing, or if it's gonna be more than that, I don't know. I really hope David doesn't stick around that long, but I guess we'll find out.
He sucks ass.
He's really awful, but we can't really render a decision on like how much to really change, I don't think. Apart from what we were already saying about the characterization of David, but again, we'll cross that bridge really when we come to it, because obviously we're going to get this character again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
should we look at the next book, Mr. Gianni?
We shall. Is it The Threat?
The Threat. What, Gianni?
It really caught me by surprise. I'm sorry. That was funny.
It's such a friendly one this time.
Yeah, this is delightful.
Who's on the front?
It's not that horrible. I mean, it's Jake.
Yeah.
Jake with his but the stance at the beginning is really what's getting me, because he's got his hands on his hips like he's doing a Superman pose, and then immediately the arms start becoming as he morphs into a dog. The third image is oh god.
The third image looks like a woman starting the PTA meeting. You know what I mean? That's what that looks like.
It does. No, there's something. I don't know if this is an experience that all pet owners have had at one point in time, or maybe this is just me. But there's there was a moment when I first got my dog, and she was still a foster at the time, so it was literally my first night with her, and she was laying down, and it was sort of in the delirium haze of half sleep that I looked over. And something in my lizard brain was what if she's just standing bipedal as a human in the thing the whole time?
I don't like that.
And it really unnerved me. Yeah. Now I've lived with her for long enough that I'm 99% sure that she's not some sort of dog human hybrid.
While you're awake.
But there was that moment. And point being, this third image is exactly that.
That's the leader of the PTA meeting. That's who that is.
Yeah,
Jake's morphing into a dog, presumably maybe his dog. Although I think his dog is technically an Irish setter, but I'll let it go this time.
Yeah, whatever.
So, what's the tagline say there, Gianni?
This is the most detailed tagline we've gotten, I think, for one
this
of these.
This is not from the bucket.
The newest. This is the tagline for the threat. It is, the newest Animorph has a secret, and it's not good.
Bah, bah, bah.
Spooky.
All right, so let me give you the slight summary description. So
okay, lay it on me.
At first, David joins the fight with a vengeance, but there is definitely something wrong, because he's starting to break the rules, taking risks that could get them all captured or killed. The Animorphs don't know what to do, because there was a time when the Yeerks were their greatest enemy. That's about to change.
Oh shit! So he really
Dark David,
the villain.
Dark David. Hell yeah!
Yeah, wow. The Empire Strikes Back of David's.
Let's hope Jake has the high ground.
Well, yeah, that's the most straightforward. Hey, this is exactly what you're getting with this plot that I think we could possibly expect it out of one of these. So that's kind of interesting. Very curious to see from Jake's perspective how insecure he is about someone taking his role as the worst person in this group.
What if the whole time in Jake's book he's just like, I think David's got a point. He's got a good point.
Oh my god. I would love that. As a Jake hater, I actually would be really about that. No, I hope this book ends with Jake making the executive decision to slit his throat or something, because that would be
maybe,
awesome.
maybe not.
I would be whoa.
I don't know.
That's some leadership shit right there.
Hell yeah.
That's some
Take leadership.
Right,
don't be Tobias.
Do you remember this one?
No, I don't. I don't remember this one. But I what just came into my mind. Okay. So for the last book, The Decision, remember when we were upset about the ending and the leopard taking Karen away and dragging her off and not killing her and whatever? I thought, what if we completely took away the leopard subplot, and then a cougar comes out of nowhere, drags Karen off, kills her, and runs off, and then Cassie's like, oh no, okay, now I'll fight for the Animorphs. But then we find out in a little epilogue, Tobias was the cougar that pulled Karen away and killed her.
Whoa.
And Tobias is like, I had to make a hard decision.
Friction in the group? I love it. That's the kind of decision making
I literally just thought of that this morning, and I was like, holy shit, that would be amazing.
Let's make these kids killers.
Put that in your notes, and I will take that.
I love that. That's a good one. I hope that.
Thank you.
I really like that. That's fun.
Hell yeah. Yeah. That's cool. So anyway, if you want to email us your thoughts, feelings, your scientific musings, if you have any videos of any chickens of yours flying, because they do fly, you can email us at morphinbuddies@gmail.com. That's morphinbuddies@gmail.com. And send us your thoughts and feelings.
And if you have any ideas for the next Buddy Awards, you let us know.
Let us know if you want to see any other categories, or if you have nominations that you would like to nominate. Please send them our way. We would love to nominate maybe characters or things we haven't thought of yet.
Yeah, we're accumulating as we go. So
hell yeah,
the longer we go, the more Buddy Awards to be had, right?
Yep, absolutely. So thank you to all the nominees. You all did wonderful. You're doing great, sweaties, and we will see all your little listening ears in the next episode of Morphin Buddies.
Bye.